You know, in one of the last couple of episodes of Dutton Ranch, there's a character who's sitting there reading a book for the fourth time. And that really triggered my interest. The book is The Far Empty, and it's by a guy named J. Todd Scott. Now, I'm not sure it's worth reading four times, but I sure enjoyed reading it once. The story is set in a really desolate part of West Texas in a town called Murphy. It's in what they call the Big Bend region, and that's right on the Rio Grande. Murphy is fictional, but the Big Bend region is absolutely real, and in fact, there's a huge national park there. What you get with this book is a kind of intersection of corrupt law enforcement, drug cartels, and even some small town secrets. The center of the story is a guy named Chris Cherry. He's a former high school football star who's turned into a rookie deputy. Now, Chris Cherry quickly discovers that in Murphy, law enforcement isn't really about upholding justice. It's about obeying Sheriff Judge Ross, a guy who rules the county like his own personal kingdom. Now, Sheriff Judge Ross really reminded me of a lot of another sheriff, and that would be little Bill Daggett in Unforgiven. Really tough, really cruel, no nonsense kind of guy. Now, what triggers the plot in this story is the discovery of human bones in the desert. But there are also some other questions floating around, like what happened to the sheriff's first two wives? Who shot a couple of federal agents? And also, you've got a war going on between a couple of Mexican drug cartels trying to control this part of the border. The main guy, Chris Cherry, has to decide whether to fall in line with Judge Ross or risk his life to unearth the truth of all that's going on with these things. Now, what sets this book, The Far Empty, apart is the author Scott's really authentic perspective. He spent 20 years as a DEA agent in that part of Texas. And I'll tell you what he writes seems to me to be totally realistic. The dialogue is absolutely laconic and I say authentic. There's plenty of violence, and the heat, the landscape, and whatnot of West Texas is almost a character in itself. Now, the way he structured the book really keeps the tension going. What he does is to use a multiple point of view structure. So you're constantly shifting between this guy, Chris Cherry, Sheriff Ross, Ross's son, and a bunch of other characters. And by the way, one of the most interesting of these other characters is one of Ross's deputies, a guy who's totally strung out on dope. Now, if you're a fan of Dutton Ranch, Landman, or Yellowstone, you're really going to enjoy this book. I certainly did. See you next week.